Hey everybody, welcome back to Age of Bison. We are here with another casted game. It's gonna be me, Madonna, and Platypus as your casters. Hello, Plat.
Hey, how's it going? Looking forward to this one. Like I said, we just watched a prior Rob game, so now we get another one. And these are, I feel like, two civs that are scary, very highly rated in various tier lists and, fear of opponents, and yet not really played that often. So I'm very curious on how this game goes at this high level.
Yeah, this is a matchup I don't think is very common. I can't remember the last time I saw this matchup, actually.
And
Go
what's
ahead.
hilarious is both these civs are kind of known for being rush civs, but the truth is they're extremely flexible. Aztec has its very powerful Plaza. It can FF, it can FI, very varied unit roster. And you have Haudenosaunee, which plays a little bit more standard, very similar to a European civ, but it has a lot of options and it has a lot of tempo behind it. And so I'm really looking forward to what these players are going to do.
Yeah, I would like to see some H3 or H4 play, but we will see. Maybe they're both gonna rush each other, because I feel like, I don't know, like rushing against another rush civ, it's very risky, but it can be worth it. So we see Aztec going with a TP. I don't actually know if that's standard or not. I believe it is.
It can be. They did change the big button tech in the Plaza for XP generation near the Explorer, so I believe that this is a more, I wouldn't say standard, but this is definitely an opening that makes sense for Aztecs. Now, looking at their deck,
To
this
me,
is definitely,
this looks FF, but I could be wrong.
yes, FF or F or H2. They even have the Kalmakak. Definitely not H4 heavy. You don't see Skull Knights or anything of the such, and just the Knight combat cards. It looks like an H4, and it looks like Entente. So
this one makes the age up cheaper, and this one makes it faster. But
yes,
that seems like a lot of cards just to get that.
You lucky man. Oh, Ali Kebab must have stole there. While we were looking at the deck, I'm going to guess that Alice Kebab.
See some smack talking.
Yeah. Stealing treasures is part of the game, and both these guys have extremely good explorers, so...
Exactly. The Rob's deck looks very standard. Could be either H2 or H3. Some H4 options, but not a lot.
Correct. Looking at both these decks, I would have to say that it's going to look like it's going to be very H2, H3 focused. I would say Hod can kind of go ahead and get the H4 to get the light cannons. Light cannons are a big problem for the Aztec army. Arrow Knights are fantastic against cannons, like falconets, heavy artillery, sort of heavy artillery, but the range of the light cannon, plus the way it does damage, will absolutely smoke. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if Rob ate all of his cows already, or if he just didn't get any. I saw they were fighting up here for the buffaloes, but I saw... Yeah, okay, so maybe they've both eaten them. We see two going down here.
It's like 4, I believe this map spawns with 5, so yeah, Rob may have only gotten 1 or 2.
Okay, so both of them did H fast, I believe.
Yep.
And we see... What is Rob gonna send? 4 Konya? What do you think?
Probably 4 Konya, big button. Tomahawks, yep.
Yep, there we go. Okay, so he's gonna try and contain Aztec. Let's see if Aztec sees this. Yep, he knows where the warhead is. Good scouting, which is easy to do when you have two units to scout with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Something too about Aztec is pushing them early on is very difficult because not only do they get good shipments, but they can just spawn those warriors over and over again from the Plaza because how effective the warrior priest is. Everybody does, but for those who are faithful in Garja, we may be delivered from the infinite warrior spam. And the devs have done in my opinion, fantastic job making it less annoying. You know, I'm trying to think of like nice words to basically say a mechanic that made you want to uninstall has been taken down to a level where I believe it's very balanced and it's pretty
What
fun to play into. So
what did they change?
the spawn times, the placement of the town plaza, sorry, the community plaza, as well as, and I think most importantly, is the Minutemen now give you XP. So it's no longer just like a resource sink on the opponent.
Are you sure? Wait, let's see here. If one dies, we can see. But already we see the plaza used for the warriors. Are you sure they don't? I don't believe they kill XP. Okay, 10. Okay, yeah, that's a good. You can only make 8.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought
It
it
just
was like
feels
infinite.
like there's more.
Yeah, I feel it because they just die so quickly, I guess.
Correct.
Okay, so look, we have a pretty big mass coming here. We have 5 slingers and another 9 slingers. What? Holy shit.
If I remember right, the Minutemen for... I'm sorry, the Minutemen, but the spawned warriors, do they have multipliers against Cav in melee? Those warriors? Not the priests, the spawned units.
Where did they go? There. It's only against
Nope.
siege units. Oh, they have a bonus even in ranged? That's pretty good.
That is, but that's standard for militia. So they have standard militia multipliers. And again, these Kanya horsemen slingers are... They're an interesting unit for Aztec, right? They're kind of like a cross between a Strelet and a crossbowman, right?
Right.
They're fast, they're pretty cheap, but like they just don't have a lot of value if they're not targeting heavy infantry. You know, their DPS is relatively low, and
Yeah,
their
you have to
animation
have a pretty
again
big
can be a
mass
problem.
of them for them to be really good.
Correct.
But honestly, I was pretty impressed by this mass, but I guess he was expecting a bigger rush from Haudenosaunee, maybe? Because honestly, this is, I mean, it's a decent mass, but I feel like it's not an all-in. Or am I wrong?
I would say, judging by what Hod is doing, is this is almost like a semi-FF. He has an extra batch of tomahawks, but you know, seeing how totally Aztec is, right? You know that to push into Aztec is probably not the most cost-effective use of res. So if you're Rob, you can take the TP line, you can raid, and most importantly, I think that Rob can get Aztec kind of stuck in Age 2 and then use that momentum to get himself get to Age 3 where his Forest Prowlers will absolutely decimate everything that's not a Coyote.
Yeah. If you look at the score, it's actually heavily in favor of Aztec right now, which is interesting.
Well, free units and the economy equivalent of the plaza working, right? It does matter.
If I was Rob, I would try to get this TP down and try to get the whole TP line, because I feel like you have the map control, you just gotta keep it. And since Aztec has, you know, he's eventually gonna run out of res and he's gonna have to push out sooner or later.
Yep. Not to mention too, because if you know he's Warrior Priest booming, you can actually use that to your advantage. And because he won't have XP, he has to use that trade line.
Yeah. So
you know,
if
to
you look
boost
at
his
the
XP generation.
If you look at the shipments, he's actually sent both of the slinger shipments. So this is pretty big mass right now. 22 slingers.
Oh no. Oh,
uh-oh.
Good split there. Okay.
Only 4 Kanya, unless...
He's got more Kanye trained up. He's going to get, looks like 3 if he remembers to finish the batch.
Oh, but this is looking pretty... I'm actually... if I was hot, I would be really scared of this mass right now. The interesting thing is going to be to see how well the Coyotes do versus the Kanya.
I would say the Kanya are pretty tanky for their cost. Now, the problem here, though, of course, is just the raw DPS of those slingers into the Tomahawk.
Yeah. Oh.
This is going to be a tough one, but Aztecs are kind of weak to Muscuss in Age 2. You know, again, it's the strength of scouting party.
Oops. Okay, so we have some Jagro Pro Knights coming out and some more Spearmen. So we have... Didn't he train a batch of Spearmen too, or am I...
I only see the 6 on the field. I believe that was his
Okay.
shipment. He may have trained more.
No, that's all we have right now. Okay, so the big fight is gonna happen here. Pushing into 2 block war huts. It's always dangerous.
It is, I mean, and it's a good fight in a lot of ways for the Haudenosaunee just because that extra damage. Plus his units are going to reinforce really fast. And, you know, those Coyotes, they're not really getting a lot of value here because they're fighting...
Look. Konya going right on top of the Spearman.
Oh, never mind. I was about to say, like, this is perfect for, you know, Hod, but... Actually, I don't know,
he
that's
caught
good
he caught all the Coyote though, so that's good. But the slingers are just destroying his tomahawks, I think.
But now the Kanye are on top of him, and, you know, those tomahawks actually really good melee, and they're good DPS in general.
Look, only slingers left.
Yeah.
Might even get a bat. Oh yeah, look, Konya batch coming out too.
Ooh. You know what? I really like that Alice Kebab is... Oh,
okay.
I was going to say...
that was a short game too. Wow.
Well, Haudenosaunee, by the way, on average, completes games in 12 minutes or under. It is the fastest
Interesting.
Civ in the game on average game length. I think we see why. So, okay, lots to unpack there, even though it's a short game. First off, Aztecs are an incredibly difficult Civ to get going. I think that the Aztec player did a good job overall.
I would actually have liked him to be a little bit more aggressive earlier. Like maybe before the second warhead went down, he could have tried to do some poking. Because he had a lot of units, but he waited quite a while to use them.
I think so, and you know he didn't send his villagers fast enough. He also was stuck on the attack dance for a while, which also probably slowed down some of the curves. Yeah, if he would have had 5 villagers, his economy would have been a lot more effective, I believe. So it's so tricky though because you're forced to dance on this plaza when you play Aztec, right? And so it's like this really tricky balance of traditional eco versus like this generative. There's almost like a factory that you invest in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he had 1 war hut at the end towards Hod's too. I think Rob just went Musk-Huss effectively, right? You know, Tomahawk Kanya, and because Aztec doesn't have a true Musketeer unit in Age 2 other than some Merc options and big buttons, they were just able to grind him down, you know, and again, some really good micro there from Rob at the end. He was splitting his Kanya up, he was stringing along a lot of the melee units, you know, those Coyotes just, there was nothing of good value for them.
Yeah,
right?
the Coyotes just got stuck here. Like, between Coin Mines and the Tomahawks, it was a really bad fight there.
It was, so I think Rob just taking advantage of the Civ, a simpler but more effective composition, and, you know, if this... It may have seemed sudden for Aztec to resign, but when you think about the high level of both these individuals, I can't blame him. It would have been an extremely difficult comeback, and the only way he could have won is to probably like roaching with the plaza, spamming warriors, walls, you know, the type of stuff that most people would rather just queue up again and have fun.
Yeah, you kind of have to, like Rob would have to make a huge mistake for the game to swing back in Aztec's favor.
I agree. So, you know, and most people, when you're on the ladder, like, it's okay just to throw in the towel sometimes. And just say, okay, I see you next game.
Yeah, I mean, these short games are pretty nice sometimes. You don't always want to do like a 40-minute treaty game.
No. I am biased, but yes, in general, as a hot mate, you know which side I'm on. I'm like, I'd rather quick and dirty, right?
Yeah, we can see the eco of Rob just shooting away due to the... I guess it's mostly due to the extra vills he had.
Extra vills, but also like how much idling he got early on with those Kanya, right? So he was able to kind of push stuff around. He was getting the plaza to do things like warrior dance or warrior spawn dance, so that way it wasn't as economy focused.
Look at this. From 8:47 all the way to the end of the game, he's idle with a lot of his vills.
Trying to micro. I mean, again, the composition of Aztec is extremely micro intensive. It's probably one of the reasons you don't see them played as much. Again, really fun Civ, but very tricky. And same with Haudenosaunee, as strong as it is. there's not a lot of ways back into games if you lose your mass, and your economy means that like you have to be microing your army very efficiently, and so
Yeah.
we got to see a rare matchup.
I think this is a mistake I know I do it all the time, but that a lot of new players make, that, you know, you try to micro the fight as good as possible, but then you forget you have like 15 idols in your base. And that, you know, a fight might take like 30 to a minute to actually, you know, conclude. So all that time you've missed out on a, even if you won the military fight, you might have lost the eco side just for that.
Right. Like, is your micro so good? And this is something that good players know sometimes, like when to focus purely on the fight. But the question we should ask ourselves, or especially when we review games that we win, and especially when we lose, was the APM required to fight resource effective compared to like making sure my macro was tight so I could replace losses?
Yeah. One thing I always try to think about is, like, before a big fight, I'm trying to get everything else, you know, ready to be, you know, like I fix my macro, I fix all my idols, and then I take the fight, you know, so you don't go in like all confused about your eco. So after the fight, you have like 2,000 wood or something stacked up, and you're like, how did this happen?
Exactly.
Okay,
so.
but I think that's it for now, and another great game. We will hopefully see more of Rob, and maybe of Elise Kebab as well.
Exactly.
Don't forget to subscribe and all that jazz, and we will see you in another video, guys.